From Reuters TV, here are today's top stories.
A humiliating rebuke for Boris Johnson from the UK's top court.
How dare you!
16-year-old climate change activist Greta Thunberg blasts world leaders at the UN. This is Reuters Now.
Trust the people.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson acted unlawfully when he suspended Parliament just before Brexit. That was the ruling from the UK Supreme Court on Tuesday, and delivered by the President of the Court, Lady Hale.
The decision to advise Her Majesty to prorogue Parliament was unlawful because it had the effect of frustrating or preventing the ability of Parliament to carry out its constitutional functions without reasonable justification.
Parliament was suspended, or prorogued in British jargon, from September the 10th. It was approved by Queen Elizabeth on the advice of the Prime Minister, which she is required to do under the country's complex and uncodified constitution. The Supreme Court ruled that the advice, and therefore the suspension of Parliament, was illegal.
This means that the order in Council to which it led was also unlawful, void, and of no effect, and should be quashed.
Lady Hale said it is now up to Parliament to decide what to do next, adding that they should be able to take immediate steps to allow both the upper and lower houses to meet.
You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you!
16-year-old climate change activist Greta Thunberg blasted world leaders at the United Nations Monday for failing to take strong measures to combat climate change. Opening the UN Climate Action Summit, a visibly emotional Thunberg condemned older generations for polluting the planet and burdening today's youth as a result.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you! You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you!
Days after millions of young people took to the streets worldwide to demand emergency action on climate change, leaders gathered at the annual UN General Assembly, aiming to inject fresh momentum into stalling efforts to curb carbon emissions. U.S. President Donald Trump, a climate change denier who has undone every major U.S. regulation aimed at combating climate change, including a planned U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Agreement, was not scheduled to be at the summit, but made a brief appearance in the audience. He did not give remarks, but listened to those given by German Chancellor Angela Merkel and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Thunberg has galvanized a new wave of climate change activism through her weekly Fridays for Future school strikes, which she began with her solitary protests outside of the Swedish parliament. The teenager watched steely-faced as Trump entered the UN amid a throng of reporters. Climate change activists were also out in full force in Washington, D.C. Monday, blocking major traffic hubs in an effort to draw attention to the summit and pressure U.S. politicians to take action.
Brewing giant AB InBev has raised around $5 billion in the IPO of its Asia-Pacific unit. That gave Hong Kong the second biggest listing in the world this year. On Tuesday, the company announced it's pricing its Budweiser APAC shares on the low end at $3.44. That would value Budweiser at more than $45 billion. AB InBev shelved plans for a bigger IPO of its Asian unit in July, where it hoped to raise nearly $10 billion. The flotation now will be a test of investor appetite, with anti-government protests weighing on Hong Kong's market. So far this year, companies have raised more than $10 billion in new listings in the embattled city, well short of the $41 billion raised in New York, according to data from Refinitiv. Now, a $5 billion IPO would trail only Uber's listing on Wall Street in May. Proceeds will help the world's largest brewer deal with a debt burden of over $100 billion. Sources told Reuters its Asia-Pacific operations will be focused on fast-growing markets, including China, India and Vietnam, something they say made the IPO an easier sell. The company said it'll make its market debut September 30th.
You're up to date. For more, check back later or download the Reuters TV app. In weather, right now in Clinton, it's 65 degrees Fahrenheit with showers. Today's forecast has partly sunny weather, with a high of 79 degrees and a low of 64 degrees. That's all for now.
Yeah, that's all for now, but we'll be back with more news and stuff like that and, you know, all that. Hey, hello everyone, hello everywhere across America and around the world from our GJRB Spreaker Studios on Clinton's North End, just above the Lions Shopping District. It's time for Gary J in the morning. That's right, folks. Got some great music in the morning. Got some good stuff from our regular playlist, including Michael J. Martin. We got that one coming up with his song called God of Every Nation. It's a fabulous tune. We'll play that one coming up. Also, great Christian song with a great message. Prayer is always powerful, isn't it? Especially when you're praying for those that need prayer. We need a lot of people like that. We got that coming up. Also, new music from a guy named Tony DeLise. Something to Believe. It's a fabulous tune. I like this one. Got this coming up. And our brand new one that we've been debuted on Up and Coming by a great country artist, new emerging artist named Mike McCorson, called Whiskey Talking. So why don't we get things rolling and get the show on the road? Yeah, let's do that right now. Let's get things going here on GJRB Online. Along with that, hey, we can talk a little bit. Not let, I rebuke that whiskey talking. In Jesus' name, right now. Saying, we got a lot of really good stuff, so I hope you'll stay with me. Good morning to you, West Coast people, where right now it's 10:02 Central Daylight Time, 8:02 Pacific, 7:02 in Alaska, 5:02 in Hawaii. Good morning to everyone. Welcome aboard. Hope you stay with me here for the best in music, and we got a lot of really good stuff coming up, so I hope you'll stay with me for all that good stuff. It's Gary J in the morning right now. And now, Gary J in the morning. Okay, if I don't hear it, I'm going to play it again, even though you hear it, but I don't. I'm going to play it again, because it's time from high atop Main Avenue. Yes, it's time, right here from the GJRB Spreaker Studio. And now, Gary J in the morning.
You're the God of creation, of every nation, every color, tongue, and tribe. You're the Alpha and Omega, and you have given every breath that's alive. Yes, we come here to adore you, Lord, we bow down before you, singing praise and adoration. You're the God of every nation. Lord, we lift your name on high. Lord, we
Voices that call out to the Lord in the night. You hear the power of prayer. People who talk right to the Lord every night. You hear the power of prayer. Hearts that sing out, praising the Lord in His might. You hear. I call on the Lord, and He knows my name. I open my heart, and I bear Him my shame. He always forgives, never leaves me to blame. With Him in my life, nothing's ever the same. See the power of prayer, works that are done thanks to the Lord's intervention. See the power of prayer, battles are won thanks to the Lord's dedication. See the power of prayer, healing the sick thanks to the Lord's medication. See, I call on the Lord, and He knows my heart. I ask for His help, and He does His part. I cry out His name, and He isn't far. His love is a light, as bright as a star.
Oh, yeah, GJRB Online. Feel the power of prayer, because prayer works, I'm telling you, folks. Got to tell you. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Gary J. in the morning here on GJRB Online. It's a group from my home city of Pittsburgh, out in Bethel Park. A group called 70 times 7, the power of prayer. Good morning to you. I hope you're enjoying the show today. And welcome to the Gary J. in the morning show. People listening in Alaska, Hawaii, early in the morning for you guys. So we're just hitting there about 7:11 a.m., 5:11 in Anchorage, And glad you could join me this morning, bright and early, having a good time doing the Gary J in the Morning Show. News, weather, sports, weather on the fives. Great music. We'll give you all nationwide weather forecast for you, all coming up here on Gary J in the Morning. And a lot of other good stuff, because I just gotta say, have just a blast. Been kind of like depressed again this week, but you know how that goes. It's just the lack of listeners. I don't know. I don't know. Install my humor, but install my humor. Wonder how many megabytes that is. But anyway, got a lot of good stuff coming up this morning on Gary J in the Morning. Beautiful sunny morning today. Blue sky finally. I think we just we got some more rain coming over the weekend here in the Clinton area. It's like it doesn't end. Yeah, I mean, we got more rain coming up. It's going to be one of those interesting weekends. Gotta say that. I'll be telling you about the weather on the fives, but we have some flash flooding in some areas, the west. We'll take a look at that with weather on the fives. We'll give you weather on the fives from Weather Nation next hour. And a lot of good music and talk as well. 45 minutes of nonstop music and talk coming up next hour on the Gary J in the Morning Show. So stay with me for that. We'll be jamming the morning away. Hey, don't forget, Gary J in the Morning, also Thursday morning for the Church of Christ. We're going to probably do something a little different that morning and have some fun. So that'll be Thursday morning. That's any time approximate, but usually run around maybe after 10 in the morning, 10 or 11 in the morning, maybe about 10. And bring you some music and news and sports briefly from the Church of Christ till maybe afternoon. And then later in the day, I've got some production to do. Back on the air on Wednesday. Back on the first Wednesday night, 8 to 11, we're going to do a Gary Wrestling Program Evening Edition, as I'm trying to plug more listeners. And then I've got a couple of other shows coming up. Friday, we're going to do the Gary Wrestling Program again, and that will be our Freestyle Friday edition. And then Saturday, extra. And I mix a little music and talk, so it'll be kind of fun. I do a lot of good stuff. I like to play some music and chat and stuff. So we got a lot of really good stuff coming up your way. So I hope you'll keep it here on GJRB Online. Gary J in the Morning, right here on the GJRB Online Network. Watch. Pray. For you not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy, New World Order, terrorism, economic collapse, wars, pandemics, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes,